Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of Warcrow Adventures. This is the all-in pledge that you could get during the crowdfunding experience. This is my all-in pledge that I pledged for. I'm excited to dig into this game. This is a app-based dungeon crawler, so you're going to see how this game plays later on with my playthrough video. But for now, we're going to dig into all of this material. There might not be a lot of it because most of it is going to be probably seen on the app that goes with this game. But for now, let's dig into this all-in pledge and see what there is. Well, of course, this isn't the all-in pledge. If you ever talk about an all-in pledge, you need so many things. You need a white box. You have no idea what's in it. You need some dice. You need not a scenery pack. You need a Came from the Fog expansion. You need a dice roller thing. On top of that, you can't go wrong without a giant miniature. And then why not another expansion as well? And to top it all off, we have some card sleeves and a giant playmat that is out of control. Now, if you're excited to see me unbox absolutely everything that's here, because now this is an all-in pledge, then I need you to meet me at the table. The first thing we have is our playmat. This playmat does measure about a little under 3 feet this way and a little over 3 feet in that direction. This is really just going to be a place to put the tiles and everything for the dungeon crawler, because as the app allows you to put things out, you're just going to be putting more and more things out on this board. There is no like player board areas or anything like that. It is really just a giant playmat that shows the world of Warcrow. Next, let's take a look at the main box for Warcrow Adventures. It starts with your fantasy war game. There's a QR code here. No idea what that brings us to. Then we have our rule book, which we're going to take a look at. The rule book is about, well, I'm not going to say about, it's going to be exact numbers. It's 39 pages long, with looks like a good amount of art, and on top of that it looks like it gives some good examples. And I'm sure as you read through this and you play through the game, the app itself may also help you out when it comes to learning how to play the game. Then we have all of our different punch boards that we are going to go through, starting with this one that has our initiative tokens onto it. Here are the 5 heroes, and a lot of these are going to be some of the enemies and potentially maybe, who knows, maybe heroes in the future. We'll have to see how the game unfolds. Next, we have an initiative tracker system that we are going to be able to assemble. And the way this works, it's a really unique system, and I like the way this works. You're going to be placing your characters out on here based on their initiative value, and then based on what you do, you're going to be moving that marker forward, and then that'll be when it comes to the next time, when it comes to your next turn, you're going to activate again. Now that means that you may go here, but if you do something really big, it may take a while to get there, or you may do 2 smaller things and a bigger, and then your actual movement might bring you to 6. And on top of that, say my character is here and I decide to do something that's 4, and there's a monster here. Let's say it's one of the monsters. We'll put if there are ever multiples on the same thing, the one on top goes. Then let's say it goes that far. Then this thing acts, and then it goes. It's going to land on top. So actually that's going to activate again before we activate. Unless, of course, there's an ability or some other modifier that changes the way that would work. But for the most part, that is how the system works to determine who is going when. So things with more dexterity and are quicker are going to be actually activating more often. But of course, that will change based on some of the things you choose to do. Now down here, we have some of our upgrade ability tokens that we're going to be using. Oh, and I did fail to mention these are double-sided, so they are also on this side as well. These are wound markers. I didn't mention that, but as you notice, they are gray out on that side and colorful on this side, so that may play an effect as we go through the game. Next, over here, we're going to have all of our different markers. These are things that are going to go out onto the map that you're going to be able to interact with or check out that are going to bring on story moments in the game. And down here we have all the different specialty tokens that have to do with what our character's abilities can do and potentially some of the enemies can do, and they're all different colors based on what character might be able to use these, or of course the enemies. These here are going to be different doors that we can go into, and of course, like I said, they are double-sided, so if it's this on one side, it might be different on the other side, so you have to put out the right token when it comes to what it tells you to do in that app. And of course, like I said, it is an app-based game. There are now going to be stain tokens. This, from what I understand, is how the magic is in this game. It's an innate resource that could potentially, or basically the evil in the world. And as you do things, this evil might get onto your characters and start affecting you as you go forward. Again, we have more damage tokens. These are blocked tokens, blocked line tokens. Now we're getting into some of the actual areas of the game. So here's some of the areas that we can have. They are, again, like I said, dual-sided and completely different on both sides. When it comes to the colors you see on these maps, it does determine kind of how much it takes for you to move through a square, or if you can even move through it at all. For example, these blue lines do cost you, I believe, like 2 movement to walk through them. And of course, the stain you can come is 1 or 3s. I don't think you'd ever want 3. That'd be really, really bad. Here are some more areas that you can explore. The red means you cannot cross through it at all. Flip it over to the other side, and you've got more outdoor versus city areas. We'll go to the next one, which again is more tiles that are going to be used for this game. This looks like an outdoor market or something, or maybe a camp of some kind. I like this idea where you're kind of climbing up different elevations and moving to different points in the map. I think that'll be kind of cool. Then we have inside, it looks like maybe, I don't know, maybe like a bar or a house or something. It looks like this might go down into a maybe like an area that could be like a cellar, or maybe into a dungeon, who knows. We have some other areas that look like maybe a sewer entrance or something, or maybe a dungeon of some kind that people are being kept in. Here's again some more tiles, and that's really about it. The rest of these are just tiles. Like I said, a lot of the game is mainly based on the app, but we do have a few tokens that are going to help your characters and understand what they do. Speaking of characters, here are the characters, here are the enemies, and here are some of the cards that we're going to have to look through, some of the abilities and things like that. So let's quickly take a look at some of this. But before we do, we have some cubes. These are going to track the actions that we are performing for our characters. These are going to be stands that we can put on certain enemies to determine or to differentiate them on the game board based on what they are on the app. And then we have a set of dice. These dice are completely custom made. Here are the different characters in the core box. We have a wildling character, which is going to be more of an archer type character. We have a dwarven warrior. We have a master of magic, and we have an orc warrior. Now, if you notice, they all have their own special ability down here on the bottom that they're going to be able to do, and they could either activate it normally, or they might have to roll a specific thing on a die to make that happen. The last person we have is Ludwig, which is the Herald of Celis, which is, I'm guessing, like a cleric type character. Now, I'm going to show you what is all of this stuff on the card. The first thing we have is our starting initiative area on that track, then the energy and our health of our character, followed by the speed you can have, then the innate defense of the character, and the innate magic resistance of the character. Now, of course, you're seeing black. Black is actually the worst die for the defense. It only has a couple of these defense symbols. It also has ones that are outlined but not fully done, and you have to use different things will make those activate. These question marks are going to be able to or exclamation points, I'm sorry, would be able to activate some of these other abilities, and some of these other ones are going to only be activated, like these, for example, that are filled in, can be activated by certain triggers that you may see. So that is the dice for the defense and the magic resistance. Then we have all of our different attributes. We have strength, agility, intelligence. Over here we have perception, charisma, and we have willpower, and we're going to be rolling all these different colored dice. We have orange, red, and yellow dice, and they do have an order for which ones are more powerful versus others. I believe it goes from yellow to orange to red is the order of how good they are based on the amount of successes and things you'll find on those particular dice. Now, the defense also have that too. They have black, blue, and green. I believe green is the best one you can get. So there are different dice you roll, and when you do go to attack, you'll roll not only your attacking dice, but you'd also roll your defense dice, because it may give you an exclamation mark that you can use for what you're doing. On top of that, the enemy might have a reaction that hits you back that you may have to try to block with some of these dice that you're using when you attack. Now, when it comes to your turn, you're going to have energy cubes that you're going to use, and that I believe is going to be equal to the energy number you have over here. You're going to place these down in order to activate certain abilities before or after you attack. You also get a free move unless you're adjacent to an enemy, from what I understand. understand. When you place these these energy cubes down, you have to perform what is on inside of these. It's going to trigger these different things on this, and they're all found on your character's reference card that comes with each of your characters. On top of that, it gives you a little blurb about what they are and kind of how the character plays and some of the abilities that it has. On top of that, it does show all of these and what they do. So, but now, for example, if you wanted to do an action, you have to place cubes equal to the amount of whatever the thicker and darker brown area is versus the black area. So if I wanted to, let's say, perform this particular thing here, I would have to spend the 2, but the last one is optional. I don't have to do that. I could put it somewhere else if I wanted to, but I can't put it on another thing that would not trigger the whole line. I hope that makes sense. At least that's from what I understand. So, and some of these are bad and some of these are good. For example, this, if you want to do this, it would make you move 1 up on the initiative track, I believe. According to this thing, it says advance your initiative token 1 position. Now that's not the best because it means you're going to go later in the round, but the 2 after it might be things that really help you out. For example, those particular ones are going to be, you may upgrade or downgrade one of your dice from your roll. So you could turn a yellow into an orange or an orange into a red or something that could really help you out. And the bottom one here says you can assign the stunned or focus stat to as many characters within your aura as you have aura tokens. Spend 1 aura token. Now this character, that's kind of an innate ability for this character, is it can gain aura tokens. They're kind of found up in this area. So it does give you the ability to, if you did this first, you have a couple aura tokens, then you could go down here and you could give people stunned conditions using those aura tokens. Or you could even do it here because if you notice it's right over there, if that's one of the things you want to do. Now remember when I talked about the hollow symbols on some of these dice? One reason when you're going to be able to use this, if you notice down here, this is like an expertise. That means you're kind of very proficient in that. And then when you roll these dice, you can turn any of these hollow successes or anything into actual successes because you have that ability. And other things on your equipment or upgrades later on in the game are also going to give you the ability to use some of these hollow symbols on the dice. The next thing we have is all the different enemy cards. Now these are going to mainly be controlled by the app. It's going to tell you what they do, but for this one at least it tells you a little bit kind of what type of dice you're going to roll, what the different symbols are going to do, and the defense dice they're going to use based on magic and their normal defense that you're being attacked with. Notice this guy has none. That's too bad for him. I believe they do upgrade maybe through the game or through some kind of power that happens, and they can become more powerful going through the game, giving them not this guy apparently not even extra health, but it gives you like magic abilities, or this could be like a captain of the group. So you can make one of them a captain and one of them not, and then those would be denoted by those rings you saw earlier in the unboxing. Moving into some of the smaller cards, these are going to be consumables that we can gain along the way. For example, we have studded plates. When an enemy attacks you, add defense to your armor. After the resolution, roll a yellow die. If you don't get a success, discard 1 card maximum per studded plate per character. These are just different things that you're going to use along the way. Next, we have our equipment cards. These are for basic starting equipment and stuff you're going to upgrade along the way. For example, here again, we're looking at the character we looked at earlier, which is Ludwig. She starts with this Harbeck armor. Awesome. This gets to roll a black die. You have a mace, which is going to tell you the type of dice to roll and what could happen if you get specific things that are not the actual hits on the roll, which are kind of cool. And then it has a special ability here called Soul of Mind. She gets a special item that adds a success to my willpower rolls. And some of these could be upgraded or changed out as the game goes forward. Next, we have consequence cards. These could happen based on actions in the game due to not fulfilling or getting not enough successes, or maybe something a monster might do to you, but these are all going to most likely be bad. For example, receive the stun state, then flip this card, and we'd flip it, and then maybe it'd come back later if you have to unflip it. Annul a exclamation mark on each of your dice rolls. I mean, these are all bad. These are bad. You do not want consequences card from what I can tell. Next, we have tinge cards. These are cards you're going to gain if you gain any amount of stain, or maybe the stain persists into the next mission. These are, again, probably going to be detrimental cards. I'm just going to look at one of them here. Shadow Herald. Before making a roll where you use the defense value, you may receive 2 stain. fix the result of your defense dice, and at the end of the resolution you may displace as many times as the question marks rolled. Well, I guess they're not all bad. I'm gonna guess this is stuff you don't want to keep around. Your charisma test gain the switch. Add a success to your roll and receive a stain. And I'm guessing at some point the more stain you have, the worse it becomes, and you could probably die from it. Then we have all of our skill cards as well. These are for all of our characters that we have. Again, looking at our maybe the cleric that we have here, she has this one, which during your activation during your activation is when you use it. So during your activation, you can receive 3 stain to remove all of the damage from this card. Then rotate this card and heal a 2 from a character within your aura and place them on this card. And you can place a maximum of 4. So this is something that you'll have for that character. And I believe the black ones are probably the ones you earn first, then green, then red, because that's kind of the way of the dice. But those are some of the skill cards. Again, I don't want to show too much because I don't want all the games spoiled. The last thing we have are some keys that we get. I don't know what these are for. We'll put those to the side, but that's really about it when it comes to all the different cardboard. Now, I would love to take a look at some of these miniatures. They are known for having fantastic miniatures. I can hardly wait. There are multiple rows, so first we're just going to dig into one of these guys on top and take a look. They do have a lot of detail on them, that is for sure. Don't even know what this thing is, but it looks awesome. We'll put this guy back in here and we'll lift this off. Now, one thing I do want to mention, I don't know if sleeving cards is going to fit back in the box. I haven't had a chance to test that, but so there is a possibility that they do not. We'll take the tape off this and take a look. What we see in this tray of miniatures is we do have our hero characters. I'm going to guess that's these up here. This looks like that giant orc character that we could be with a cool looking weapon. I love the kind of flail mace type concept that it has. Let's see what else we have. This looks like this is that cleric character that we were looking at earlier with the holy symbol kind of held out in front. That's pretty awesome. And here is the dwarf character that we saw in there as well. And the magic user looks pretty sweet. Look at the crackling lightning coming from it, or just arcane energy. Whatever you want to make it be, it can be. I'm totally okay with it. Your choice. Well, I don't see the archer anywhere. Is this the archer? No, it's not the archer. Oh, here he is, right down here. Here's the archer character for our group that we can use. And then here are all the different enemies. Look at how this, almost like that sickness, or what do they call it, the stain, has kind of just corrupted all of these enemies. And they're just kind of coming up and attacking. Look at this one. This one's kind of got this sword behind his back, kind of coming in with it and chained to it. Oh, that looks pretty awesome. And some of these bigger characters, of course, I'm sure this is some giant boss character we're going to have to fight at some point. It's got things it's got like a mouth on top of its body. That's sweetness. And then here's, oh, look at this guy. This guy's got evil teeth, mouth all over the place. All right, that's super good. All right, that is it for the core game. I'm not going to show you all the miniatures. I think you can see them as you will. I'm going to show one more because this guy looks pretty sweet. Look at this guy. This guy looks pretty awesome. Got the wings and the spear, and just probably coursing with magic throughout it. Okay, that is all I'm going to show from this box. Let's take a look at one of the expansions. The first one we have is this one, the Death Claws of the Dream. Now, I believe this is a separate campaign that you can play on top of the other thing. It does have specific rules for this. It's actually only 2-page rule book that gives just added rules to this. This one does come with some more enemies, some more abilities, and then of course it looks like we're in the land of lava and trees. I mean, maybe we're on an island. I don't know, land of island bad trees. I don't know. But it does look pretty awesome to have all these things in here. Continuing on, it does come with some hero characters from what I understand. So I believe these are the heroes down here or maybe these two are the heroes, and then these are, of course, all the rest of the stuff is all bad guys. These do punch out pretty easily, as you can tell, as they're kind of flying all over the place. So yes, here are the enemies, and here is the heroes, and here are the miniatures. The two heroes in the game looks like a javelin throwing type character, and then it looks, I'm going to guess, maybe like an artificer or a tinker type character that you can control in this one. And I don't know if you can use them in the core game, but I know you can use them in this expansion. I have to actually play the game to know what we can use with what. Then we have, of course, all of our different ability cards for those characters. We have our starting equipment cards as well. So we have like Dart here, which is the weapon for this character. We have armor, and then of course all the different, I guess what you can like trinkets and special items that these characters can get. Same with our dwarf character. I don't know if it's a dwarf. But our Tinkerer type character is going to be able to get this. Oh, look, he gets a rambling mug. That's pretty funny. All right, so those are the 2 player characters you get in this expansion. Lastly, we have our miniatures that this game comes with. Here is our first character that we have that we can look at. This is the javelin type throwing character, and then I'm sure the other guy is here somewhere. Where is he? Here looks like some type of goblin. Look at, they're on stilts. That's pretty funny. Well, maybe run through the lava. That's not a bad thing. I believe this is our character here that we can play with. That like the Tinkerer type. What do you call it? Character that we can have, a Tinkerer, or what was I said earlier? I can't remember what I said, but look at this guy. This guy is super cool. He's got things on him as all over the place, like little goblin guys attached to him that are probably helping him out. And then look at these guys. These guys are probably like fire throwing guys. I mean, I guess you're in a fire area, you might have fire flamethrowers. That's pretty awesome. So that is one of the expansions for the game. Like I said, this could be, I think this is a complete new campaign that you can play that will expand your ability to play this game. Now, there are some other expansions that I think are going to be a little smaller. The next few expansions we have are just some, this one is going to be purely cosmetic. It's just a scenery pack that gives us some of the different things that we're going to be placing down onto the map, but instead we can use these awesome looking 3D things and be super cool instead of putting like, oh, hey, put this token over there to interact and be like a desk. Well, we got desks. We got actual desks. Then we have doors, and we also have some portals, and I believe there's also some, looks like there's some chests in here as well. Let's see if we can get this open. This could be an extravaganza. Nope, we got it open. Okay, so here we go. This looks like more like a portal. We've got, it looks like a door of some kind. Looks like we can file that off maybe a little bit. Let's see what else we got. Yep, it looks like we even have some chests in here as well that we can use. Like I said, this one is purely cosmetic. The other ones I think are going to have gameplay implications. So we'll put this aside and we'll take a look at the next one. The next one we have is They Came from the Fog. These are kind of some alternate miniatures and alternate enemies that we can use in the game. They look pretty awesome. Here's one of them right here. Look at this guy. He's got some, I guess he's carrying stain with him. That's pretty awesome. There's a few of those guys. We have this guy. He's got like a big sword in him all the way down his back, it looks like. This guy's got swords and stuff coming out of him. He looks like he's been possessed. These are going to be are pretty almost like all undead type characters. Oh, except maybe this guy. This guy might be hanging back, let the undead doing his own dirty work here. We'll see how that goes. Oh, look at this guy. This guy's got a whole scythe going on here. This guy looks awesome. This guy looks super, super cool. Oh my gosh, I'd like to play as this character. This character looks awesome. All right, now I don't think, none of these are playable characters. These are all actual enemies that you can add to the game. Now I could be wrong about that. They might be, from what I understand, in the game as you play through it, depending on how the choices you make and things of that nature might open up new areas that you could go to, which might be where these particular enemies are. One thing I didn't show for that last pack is it does come with a pack of enemy cards along with those tokens you saw on top, just like these. This one is called the Underground Rascals. It looks like this guy looks like the leader who's being carried on a shield by this guy. That's pretty awesome. Oh, I'd love to be carried around on a shield. But lo and behold, that does not happen. Here we have a couple of guys that are so small they have to work together to wield this giant thing. That's pretty neat. So again, another set of enemies that can be added to the game as you play through the game. We have a stretch goals box that actually is really cool. It comes with some really awesome things. First thing it comes with is it does come with some new characters we're going to look at soon, because the next thing I want to show you is, check this out. It comes with a full thing to hold your characters. This is absolutely amazing. So you have your characters, you're going to be able to put their character cards in here and all their little abilities and tokens and everything. And then you get to cover it up, which is awesome. And then if I can get this thing off, then when you play the game, you can still keep it in there, and all those cubes can then sit in there along with any statuses you have, or any, so you get the stain, or your health chips. You can take damage, it goes in here as well, along with some extra cubes and things of that nature. So these are really cool. It comes with 4 of them, so this game can be played up to 4 players. So it does come with one for every player. So these are really neat. I really am a big fan of those. Then of course it does come with some second characters. The first looks like it's going to be a character that like deals with these larva tokens and kind of puts them on enemies and heroes and uses them to be able to like heal people or maybe damage the enemy. The next one seems like a magic user of some kind that kind of has a lot of wild magic going for it, and that that way, from what I understand. And this one looks more like another kind of wizard type character or sorcerer type character that has like uses maybe elements as the way of attacking. Let's check out some of their skills. Maybe they'll give us a little hint here. For example, he got healer, so it says here you can, during the activation, the character with a larva token, I can remove it to cleanse one stain. So it is like a healer or flesh eater. So it does use these larva tokens that are going to be on the character. The next one, I think is going to be very like a chaos type thing, where it's kind of a risk reward, or maybe things that happen to the character. Depending on what happens, you're going to gain either these, I think, like confusion tokens or fear tokens, things of that nature. The next character, like I said, I'm not sure what this guy does. During an attack, magic attack within 1 to 4, fold tokens. So he's going to gain fold tokens. These fold tokens, I think, help with defense. So maybe it's a very defensive type wizard of some kind. We are going to get some ability, some armor and weapons for these characters. A seed pouch for one type of character. We're going to get robes for the other character. Looks like I don't know what that is. We've got another rod, I guess, a rod of some kind. And then here's the tunic for, I think this is going to be the elemental type sorcerer or something. Prismatic scheme, which could perform like magical attacks. So maybe this one has more of these like arcane things coming out of it. I don't know. We'll have to see what all these are. Now, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to have my Patreon supporters decide who we're going to play with in our playthrough. If we might use anywhere from 2 to 4 characters, depending on how the game plays out. I think it'll be pretty awesome. The more people we can use, the more things you can learn about each of these characters. It does have the different builds for those characters and what they do. So there's a lot on here about panic and meditation, where this one does have, like I said, those larva tokens. And this one can fold things, where it looks like it gives people defense tokens as it goes forward. So those are the 3 new characters. We do have some miniatures for them. Here is the character that can use the fold tokens. Look, he's got that wizardy type material coming out of him. That looks kind of cool. It looks like some kind of dwarven character of some kind. Here is the one with the larva all over his back. And there you can see the larva kind of billowing up on his back like that he's going to pass on to characters and other things. And we got, is this the, nope, that's not the wizard dude. Who's the wizard dude? Is this the guy? Yeah, this is him. I'm going to guess this is him. This is the other wizard-looking character that's in the game that you can be according to this. Now, I don't know what these are. These are like angelic creatures of some kind. We'll have to see what those do. Maybe there's something that these people can summon as they play through the game. Or maybe the app knows you have these, you can use them for something at some point. I'm not even sure what those are. We'll have to see as we play through the game. All right, so that was the stretch goals. Next we have a stretch goals box for the core game. Again, more characters. This is awesome. I love games that give me tons of characters to play with. I think they're going to be awesome. All right, let's take a look at them. The first one, it looks like we're going to be having a bard type character, I'm guessing. Then I would guess this is going to be maybe a monk type character. Again, not 100% sure on what these characters are all going to be. This one looks like maybe a ranged warrior of some kind. It looks like it had well equipped and seems to come with like pistols and things of that nature and has some pretty good armor. The next one looks like an assassin and actually rolls 2 black dice. I don't think anything else rolls 2 black. Oh no, this guy rolls a couple extra dice here. We got a lot of defense there. So maybe this is going to be an awesome looking assassin. I'm going to guess these have to do with like poison tokens. Of course, the cards for them are going to be right here so we can take a look. So this one does have martial arts type ability, and its assassin thing. Martial art tokens are used during your attack against tokens. May upgrade rolls and things of that nature. Here are the different things that it can do. You may place martial arts tokens on your enemy within 1 to 5 range, and I'm sure those do different things. Leadership, so it's a very leadership based character. Okay, that makes a little more sense. All right. And it looks like you can move up down the initiative track. You can place leadership tokens on characters, which are probably going to be part of your core abilities. This is maneuvers. In the switches phase, the adjacent ally attack on response, you may spend 1 maneuver to add successes or defenses to an ally's roll. So I'm guessing this person kind of intercede and start helping people. I'm guessing it looks very monkey, like a monk type class, but I could be, again, wrong about it. And here's the bard. It's got all the stuff about songs, which are going to be super cool. Wow. This one's that just doesn't have a lot going on here. She has a lot more going on than he does. All right, so those are the character classes. They have the miniatures here. Again, here's that one. Oh, maybe it's not maybe it's not a monk. Look at this. You got 2 swords coming at you. I could be totally wrong. Or is this the assassin? I bet, nope, this is not the assassin. This is the other guy. No, maybe it's not a monk type character. All right, we'll have to see what that one is. Now here's the bard. He's got a little pet comes with him, which is kind of cool. We have our leadership type class. This character looks super cool. This one might be one I want to play. This one would be super cool as I drop it on the ground. Neat little, has the guns coming out, which are cool. It has a pistol. That's pretty awesome. Here's that assassin. Some of these characters look really awesome to play. Oh, that's really cool. All right, and then it looks like it's some upgraded tokens for stain and health. And these are going to be all the little abilities and the equipment that our characters come with. I'm not really going to go into that. We've seen a lot of other ones that have that. The tokens, though, that it comes with are actually also going to have the stuff for our other characters that were in the other box. And it looks like it comes with a couple of their enemies as well, or maybe they're heroes that help our heroes. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's alternate versions of bad guys. Giant Morbian and Thundergust. I'm going to guess those aren't good for you. These are the tokens for the characters. Like it says, it has those martial arts tokens and leadership tokens that are a part of this. Here's your bard songs. These are going to be those larva tokens down there. So we have all of that. And then it came with a map. Comes with a map here that's probably exactly the same as the board, or the what do you call it, the playmat that you see in front of you, but it's going to actually have everything labeled. So as you're going through the game, it'll tell you where you are. You'll actually know because you have the map that tells you everything. Where this one is super cool, but it's everything labeled, and that's totally fine. All right, that's the stretch goals. And we'll move into some of our last stuff. A couple other things that came with that I'm not really going to open is these frosted dice set. You can see them through there. I don't think it's worth opening them, and I'm not going to open card sleeves and talk about them. Everybody knows what those are. Also, it did come with a dice roller thing that you can put a dice tray. I'm not going to open this and deal with all that. People have seen a dice tray before. But what you haven't seen before is this giant Mormab. This thing is out of control. Look at this thing. This thing is super cool looking. Now it does take some assembly. This thing you have to either glue in or you can just kind of push it in. It does push to fit to an extent. You don't need to glue it. It'll be totally fine out on the table. It's not falling apart. So if you don't want to glue it, you don't have to, but it does take, you have to assemble these two things go in, and so does this. But look at this thing. Oh, I love how this thing's just kind of coming off of this thing. This looks super cool. It has so many, it's like what, 2 legs, so many arms. What is this thing? Oh, it looks like it's something that's kind of chaining it to this thing. Oh, that's super cool. It's like, oh look, there's even like parts of bodies down here. It's actually, it's out of control. That's so good. And it's got its own base, which of course then will fit on that board. So this is a 3x3 monster, obviously. So we'll have to see when this thing pops up in the playthrough. We'll have to try to deal with this thing. Oh, so cool. So that's the, I think the final thing, this giant Mormab. I'm so bad at names. So there you have it. That is the unboxing of Warcrow Adventures by Corvus Bell. This is a super fun game that I'm looking forward to. Like I said, this is app-based, so that does kind of, it has a, which can kind of polarize people when it comes to board games that use apps, but I'm not worried about that. I'm going to give this a shot. We're going to do some playthroughs of this, and of course I'll have to have you help me decide who we're going to be using in the core game if we're able to decide people outside of this core box for the playthrough. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the unboxing of Warcrow, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more content for Warcrow comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments section below. Have you had a chance to try this game? Are you excited for your copy to show up? Have you had a chance to dig into this game? Or are you thinking about maybe getting it now that you've seen everything there has to do with this game? I'm pretty excited to dig into this. If you're interested in supporting the channel, the link to the Patreon is located in the description of this video as well. Those that have joined the Patreon are shown here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It means the world to me. On top of that, if you do join the Patreon, you get some perks. A couple of the perks are, one, all of the playthroughs that Colin and I do usually come out a day or two ahead of time without commercial interruptions. On top of that, like I've said before, during this unboxing, we have our Patreon supporters help us decide who plays in our games, and as the game goes forward, we ask for suggestions on how to level our characters up or what paths to be going down so that the Patreon supporters get a chance to interact with the games that we play. So there you have it. That is the unboxing of Warcrow Adventures. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're excited to see what Colin and I have coming up, then I need you to stay away from this giant monster. Roar! Meet me at the table.